No seed unplanted has a chance of reaching its destination. Once planted in the right ground, an unimaginable process is triggered, and the seed must endure the ride of its life if it's going to break through to the other side a new creation. Once we confess Christ, we are planted in his death and become a new creature that is cultivated by the Good Shepherd through the Spirit. Once planted, Jesus goes to work to revive us from the dead by his resurrected life. Sadly, most Christians never come to an understanding of the process God uses to make us his new creatures. The day we confess, we are reborn into the kingdom, and just like that seed, we must endure the ride of our lives if we are going to become fruitful and able to be used by God to further his kingdom. One small seed must endure a journey where it is completely dependent on its cultivator if it is going to reach its full potential. Its success depends on the cultivator's knowledge of how to care for it and where to plant it. The journey begins once dropped into the ground and shut off from the world it once knew. To start, the seed may feel like it's in the wrong place. It's uncomfortable. It's left the companionship of the other seeds just like it and has begun its process isolated in the dark. It is now surrounded by dirt and odd fluctuating experiences alongside other creatures. The seed can't see them, but it feels their impact. The seed is alone and exposed to the will of the environment, vulnerable and weak. While trying to imagine what being settled is in this state, and a glimpse of familiarity sets in, it's suddenly being pushed down further as the dirt above it gets heavier. What is this pressure? It feels like the ceiling is pushing down on its head. It gets increasingly heavier until finally the pressure makes direct contact with the seed. Soaked in water that comes from seemingly nowhere and everywhere, the seed is immersed in muddy water and wonders if it's drowning. While filled with anxiety and confusion, the water changes the consistency of the dirt cradling the seed, making it less sturdy. Will it slip down further? How far away is down? It can't hold its breath anymore and needs to breathe. The seed catches a break and its breath once the water is absorbed into the dirt beneath it. After the water shifts the dirt, now mud, around repositioning the seed, the environment becomes more stable as the ground around it has absorbed the excess water. Things loosen up for a spell, then gets tighter and harder, now uncomfortable. For a long while, not understanding this experience, things looked hopeless for the seed. The seed is on high alert, never able to settle due to the fluctuating state of its new home, and never knowing what is happening at any given moment. Wet, then perfect, then soaked, then wet, then dry, too dry. The seed tries to ease its mind and learn the cycles in inconsistent moments. The worst moment is when it's drowned and suffocated by too much water and must wait a long time to breathe as the dirt takes its sweet time absorbing the water from around the seed. There are moments when things are just right until they are not. Sneaky dry spells come and frustrate the seed. The dry seasons create a tight squeeze as the dirt hardens around the seed. It sure doesn't help that the dryness cracks the dirt around it, causing additional friction and agitation. One dry season, 10 cycles later, the seed is placed under immense pressure until one day its body gives way and just breaks. It literally splits and falls apart, but not to destruction, although it certainly feels like it. The seed outgrows the impacted walls around it, finally a little more leg room. But wait, it's not the dirt that's moved, it's the seed. Its body morphs and pushes through the dirt. It's still dark, it's still cold, wet, then dry, then soaked, then parched. The cycles keep happening at inconsistent intervals. It's not moving, but shifting. There is no resting. There is a constant pressing up against who knows what for what seems like forever until one day, after much stretching, it bursts forth. The seed has no idea what it's becoming, but the change was felt, though not obvious. The pressure is not gone, rather, it's shifted. A new perspective has been born, and a new way of life begins as the seed outgrows the darkness. Blue skies and sunshine are seen. A new season to get used to is here for that seed. Wait, the seed, it's gone. There is a new body forming, roots growing. That's where the pressure shifted. Green buds spring up from the dirt that smothered and choked it. At least, that's what it felt like. In fact, the dirt facilitated the conditions it went through, causing the seed to be nourished by it instead of being destroyed by it. The dirt protected the seed from the heat of the sun. It had minerals and critters that worked to nourish the seed and defeat bacteria and toxins from polluting it. It absorbed the water from above, allowing the seed to be quenched by it instead of drowned out and washed away. Without being planted in the dirt, the seed would have expired alongside the other unplanted seeds and would have come to nothing. No seed unplanted has a chance of reaching its destination. Once planted in the right ground, an unimaginable process is triggered, and the seed must endure the ride of its life if it's going to break through to the other side a new creation. Every seed can one day become a mature plant or tree that bears the fruit of itself, carrying a bounty of the seeds it once was, now capable of producing a harvest. Salt and Savoury is a mentor and support system created to help those understand the process, grow, and stay planted in Jesus. If you don't know why you're going through what you're going through, you can abuse the time and give up before the Lord gets finished. Some plants need additional support while their foundation gets strong enough to stand on its own. Others need to be transplanted into better ground in order to survive and thrive. Salt and Savoury is here to help, support, and add the nourishment that you may be lacking in your life so that you can come to complete fruitfulness. God is the husbandman over the vineyard. Jesus is the good shepherd that never gives up on us. He is the way to get us where we need to be because having Him there is what makes the difference. We are the salt of the earth. Like a fully grown tree can preserve life by nourishing those who eat from it, a mature Christian who has learned to trust in the Lord with all their heart and not lean on their own understanding, acknowledges God in all their ways, allowing Him to direct their paths, will be able to preserve the lives of those who depend on them. If the salt has lost its savor, the earth cannot be salted. The earth is preserved by Christians that God can use to continue feeding His sheep. God loved the world, so He sent His Son Jesus to save it and shepherd it. Now Jesus is sending us. If Christians lose the ability to preserve others, life will wither away. We may be the only Jesus the world will ever see. Salt and Savoury is here to help you stay salty and savory for the nourishment of the kingdom.